So the other day I was perusing Ground News, this site I use to keep tabs on whether news stories are balanced, leaning left or leaning right. And while scrolling, I stumbled across an article about the Supreme Court deciding not to take up a case challenging Hawaii's gun licensing requirements. And let me tell you, when I saw this, I couldn't help but roll my eyes. Seriously, Hawaii thinks it can ban people's right to carry a firearm because of the Spirit of Aloha. Now, I did a video about this earlier in the year, and back then, I had some choice words about this nonsense. I understand the desire for peace, love, and tranquility. Who doesn't want that? But we live in reality. And in reality, there are people who want to see peace, love, tranquility, and your life burn. So disarming the people is the absolute worst thing you can do. Instead, empower the people to be able to protect themselves, which is what the founding fathers were doing when they wrote the Second Amendment, which is part of our Bill of Rights, which is part of the U.S. Constitution, the same U.S. that Hawaii is a state of, and therefore the Hawaii government has to obey. Guess we'll be seeing you at the U.S. Supreme Court. Aloha. Fast forward to now, and the Supreme Court has decided not to take up this case for now.
A challenge to Hawaii's gun licensing law was thrown out. The U.S. Supreme Court today rejected the case by Christopher Wilson. The state charged him for carrying a gun on private property without a license back in 2017, but he claimed it was a violation to his Second Amendment, citing SCOTUS 2022 ruling that expanded gun rights. One of the court justices agreed with Wilson and threw out Hawaii's case, but the state Supreme Court revived it, calling the higher court's ruling, quote, fuzzy and backward looking. The majority didn't explain why they declined the case, but 3 justices indicated that they'd hear arguments over this issue later on.
Let me give you a quick breakdown of what just happened. The Hawaii Supreme Court just ruled that a man who bought his gun legally in Florida can be prosecuted for carrying his gun in public without a permit. And I kid you not, they quoted a TV series and the Spirit of Aloha to justify it. Court denied his dismissal. When the U.S. Supreme Court in the Bruin decision ruled that modern firearm laws must be consistent with the nation's historical traditions of firearm regulation, Wilson filed to dismiss his case again and won. But the state of Hawaii, who clearly forgot that they are
part of the United States,
appealed the decision, and here we are with the Spirit of Aloha and a quote from The Wire. And I quote, "The Spirit of Aloha clashes with a federally mandated lifestyle that lets citizens walk around with deadly weapons during day-to-day activities." The word aloha is a word that dates back to the 1800s.
It's a composition of 2 words, alo and ha. And alo means in the presence of, literally translated, and ha is the breath of life.
Therefore, the Spirit of Aloha means nothing if you can't effectively protect the body that the breath of life is in. Using a word that means breath of life to justify taking away someone's right to protect their life is wild. Now, before I dive deeper into this nonsense, let me talk to you about today's sponsor, Ground News. Ground News is a site I've been using a lot this year to keep myself honest when it comes to how I consume news, especially around Second Amendment issues. And here's what makes Ground News different. It aggregates news stories from across the spectrum and shows you whether those stories are being covered by the left, the right, or centrist outlets. For example, when I was looking at the coverage of this Supreme Court case, Ground News showed me that out of 44 sources reporting on it, 8 leaned left, 11 leaned right, and 10 were neutral. It's like having a map of media bias laid out in front of you. But it doesn't stop there. Ground News also points out blind spots. These are stories one side might be covering heavily, but the other side is conveniently ignoring. And they even have this Google Chrome plugin that makes it even easier. If you're reading an article, the plugin will pop up and show you the bias distribution and then link you to other stories covering the same story. It's become a staple for me to stay out of the echo chamber and understand where my own biases might come into play. And here's the best part. If you're serious about staying informed, head over to ground.news/Colion and you'll get
50% off of the Vantage subscription,
which gives you unlimited access to everything they offer. By subscribing, you're not just getting a better way to read the news, you're actually directly supporting my work. So go ahead and scan the QR code or click the link ground.news/Colion in the description section. So the reason I want to talk about this It's because it highlights a problem I've been pointing out for years. The anti-gun lobby knows exactly what they're doing. They're not stupid. They understand the slow grind of the legal system and how long it takes to fight bad, unconstitutional laws. Here's the play. They pass these ridiculous laws at the state level, laws they know are unconstitutional, because they figure, hey, even if we lose in court, eventually it's still going to take years before the Supreme Court rules on it, if they even take the case. And in the meantime, those laws stay in effect, making it harder for law-abiding gun owners to exercise their rights. That's exactly what's happening here. The Supreme Court decided not to take this case, at least for now. And yeah, I get it. They can't take every single case. There's only one Supreme Court, but this creates a bottleneck. And the anti-gun lobby loves to exploit it. Look at what New York did after the Bruen decision. The Supreme Court struck down their concealed carry restrictions, and what did they do? They rushed to pass a new law just as unconstitutional, knowing full well it would take time to challenge. By the time that law gets struck down, they'll probably have another one lined up. It's a never-ending game of constitutional whack-a-mole. What drives me crazy is the arrogance. These states know they're in the wrong. They know these laws won't hold up, but they keep doing it because there's no real consequence for their overreach. Personally, I think it's time for states pulling this nonsense to face some kind of penalty, because at this point, they're just wasting everyone's time and trampling on our rights in the process. And here's the thing, they don't stop. They just keep doing it. They're like Diddy back in the day. Won't stop, can't stop, telling everybody we ain't going nowhere. And it's true, they're not. This is the level of obsession we're dealing with. They will do everything they can to chip away at your rights, even when the odds are stacked against them. So yeah, this Supreme Court decision, or lack of a decision, shows exactly how determined they are to keep pushing their agenda, no matter how many times they get smacked down. And that's why we have to stay vigilant and stay involved and keep fighting back. At the end of the day, this isn't just about Hawaii or New York or even one specific case. It's about the relentless fight to defend our Second Amendment rights. The anti-gun lobby doesn't stop. They're like that one annoying song that's always stuck in your head. They'll keep chipping away at your rights, even when they know they're wrong. So what can we do? We stay vigilant, we stay informed, and most importantly, stay involved. Don't become complacent. So let me know in the comments what you think about the Supreme Court decision, or lack thereof. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Oh, and as a reminder, you know that Colion Noir holiday Christmas sale? Yeah, it's still going on. So when you use the code Defend America, you get access to things like this beautiful premium embroidered hoodie that I have right here in front of me, which I absolutely love, and this Keep America tactical design. I have these in all 50 states, and you'll get 15% off when you use the code Defend America. But that's not the only one. It's in all of our designs, all of our shirts, our hats, our drinkware, you name it. And even these bad boys right here, my favorite in-ear Bluetooth hearing protection, the AKT1s. I love these things. They're beautiful. You can listen to music. You can talk on the phone while still protecting your hearing, and you can still hear everything that's going on around you. And it has active noise blocking, so whenever a certain noise decibel goes too high, it'll clip it, protect your hearing. Yeah, you like that, don't you? Yeah, so head over and click the link in the description section and take advantage of this while you still can at 15% off. That's Defend America at checkout. One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now, you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together, we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.